Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's November 1st, a Tuesday. Later today will be Game 6 of the World Series back in Cleveland. Chicago Cubs versus Cleveland Indians, the two cursed baseball teams in the same World Series. What we're going to talk about in this video is last night's Monday Night Football game, which I previewed and put out a video for about it being on the 33-year anniversary of the death of George Halas, who created the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears played in Monday Night Football last night, the night before Game 6 of the World Series. So we're going to talk about his death again. We're going to talk about Walter Payton's death. Today is the 17-year anniversary of the death of Walter Payton. We're also going to talk about what was so interesting about last night's score for the Bears and the Chicago Bulls. Definite parallels there. By the end of this video, you're going to understand how all of these sports leagues are scripted together. We're also going to talk about Coastal Carolina, the college baseball team. I documented earlier this year that their win was scripted and it was likely synced up with the World Series to come because the team had 108 name gematria and it was going to be 108 years since the Cubs had won the World Series, something I've been talking about since spring training. And a lot of people criticized my college baseball World Series video. They said it was stupid, it was idiotic, there's no way to rig college baseball. These people are all wrong, and we're going to get to that. So not only am I going to show you how professional sports are all scripted together, I'm going to show you how the world of college sports are scripted, which I showed earlier this year with college football. I said that Alabama would beat Clemson, and it would be a tribute to the Super Bowl to come, which was going to be Broncos over Panthers. Two Carolina teams losing in the college and Super Bowl football championships. We're also going to talk about the 97 World Series, how the Indians lost in Game 7. They lost on October 26th. Interestingly enough, in this World Series, that's the date the Cubs got their first win against the Indians. That was Game 2 in Cleveland. Jacob Arrieta pitching. Arrieta pitching again tonight, first game back in Cleveland. October 26th, that's also Hillary Clinton's birthday, who's a big Chicago Cubs fan. I did a video before Game 2 saying why I thought the Cubs would win on Hillary's birthday. And just as a reminder, I've put out two videos. I put out the first video the night it happened. I already saw the connect. I showed how Sunday Night Football, the tie game, Seahawks at Cardinals, was a tribute to the World Series. A lot of people don't know the Cardinals, one of the first two teams in the NFL, which were originally from Chicago, like the Cubs. The Chicago Cardinals, the CC, the Chicago Cubs, the CC. Anyway, that tie game, Sunday Night Football, was a tribute to the World Series. Then, the next Sunday, the first game was in Wembley Stadium. The Indians, or the Redskins, were playing the team from Ohio, the Cincinnati Bengals. Here in the World Series, we have the Indians from Ohio. That game finished in a tie. It was the first time there had been two ties in back-to-back weeks in the NFL since 1997. The last time it happened was 97, the year the Indians lost in the World Series. This year's the 97th season of the NFL. First season since 97 with tie games back-to-back weeks. This week in Wembley, the Redskins and Bengals tied at 27-27. That's a sum of 54 points. Baseball equals 54. MLB equals 27. The week before, it was 3-3. The word curse equals 66. The week before, it went to overtime 3-3, a lot like 33. Game was on the 33rd parallel in Glendale, which equals 33. But the final score was a tie of 6-6. World Series equals 66. So does the word curse. And we're talking about two cursed baseball teams, the Cubs and Indians. Check out the videos I put out. There's more to the story. But anyway, we got these tie game tributes, 97th season of the NFL, 1997 World Series. Also, what's interesting is the tie games in the NFL came Week 7, Week 8, 7-8, a lot like 78. Cleveland equals 78. Game 6 equals 78. Cleveland has a chance to close out tonight. There's a narrative Cleveland could. But if Cleveland loses tonight, we'll see how they lose. It might be symbolic. Might give us a clue about Game 7 should it occur. And remember, for months I've been saying I expect the Cubs to be, well, in spring training I said I expect the Cubs to be in the World Series and win it. For months I've been saying I expect this World Series to go to Game 7 because Game 7 was scheduled for November 2nd, 11/2. It's the 112th World Series. So anyway, we're going to talk about all this. Let's go back to Monday Night Football. George Halas. It was the 33-year anniversary of his death. His nickname was Papa Bear. He founded the Chicago Bears. Papa Bear in gematria sums to 33, like MNF for Monday Night Football, like Masonry, like secrecy. Freemasonry invented the NFL. It's been a network of Freemasons running it and scripting the games ever since. This is true of all the American sports leagues. He was born February 2nd, which is also the 33rd day of the year. He died on Halloween Day, a day you wear costumes, something like athletes. Notice he also died in the year 83. Let us not forget the word football equals 83. They say that was the best QB draft class ever. His other nickname was Mr. Everything, gematria of 74 like Masonic, 33 and 74 often paired together by the Freemasons. Here they're paired together in his nickname, the man born on the 33rd day of the year. I showed how his name last night in gematria has parallels with Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton. It was the 110th game all-time between both teams. Between the Minnesota and the Bears in the regular season, Minnesota equals 110, President equals 110. I am documenting that more often when there is a matchup between both teams and it corresponds with their city name, the team that has the corresponding match, like last night Minnesota lost, and it was the 110th regular season game between both teams. Earlier this week, or maybe it was last week, Jacksonville was having their 43rd game against Tennessee. Jacksonville equals 43. They lost. And some other ones I've documented. I'm just noticing that the majority of the time, when it syncs up this way, the team loses. Almost like they have to sacrifice on their own number. So anyway, this man who founded the Bears, he has name gematria corresponding with Hillary Clinton, who's born in Chicago, Illinois. It's been 33 years. The name Clinton the small way sums to 33, like MNF. Again, Minnesota present. We're talking about a presidential race, the Democratic Party, Obama with the Chicago connections, Hillary born in Chicago, Chicago World Series right before the election. The day he was born was a date with 99 numerology. We're going to be talking about Walter Payton's death in this number 99. The word Illinois equals 99. The Chicago Bears play in Chicago, Illinois. Before the game yesterday, I showed how Chicago, Illinois in gematria sums to 82. The birthday for Joe Madden, the Cubs manager, and for John Fox, the Bears manager, they're both born February 8th, which can be written 8/2. You know? Michael Jordan had 82 birth numerology, NBA 82 game schedule. The day he died, this man, date with 26 numerology. The word bear equals 26. The Chicago Bears improved to 2-6 last night. 26 is also the God number in gematria. 26 letters in the English alphabet, the word God, G plus O plus D, 7 plus 15 plus 4. Number has everything to do with the shape that the football is. So no surprise, the Chicago Bears, Chicago, the birthplace of the NFL, got this big symbolic win on the 33-year anniversary of the death of the founder of the Bears, who died on Halloween, a day that's in part about remembering the dead. You know? These Freemasons, they're ritually sacrificing by the numbers. These Freemasons have created our calendar, our language. It's the reason the calendar is so nonsensical. If you've never seen my video on why there's 28 days in February, check it out. Important information. But anyway, October 31st, it's always Halloween Day, a date with 41 numerology. Halloween in gematria equals 41. 41, the 13th prime number. 13 points at halftime, if I'm not mistaken, last night. 13-3, I believe. Remember, USA equals 41, 13 colonies, 13 stripes on the flag. I pointed out before the game was played that if John Fox won last night, he would get his 8th win as the Bears coach in Week 8, kind of like 88. This man, George Halas, died at age 88. He died at 88, and 88's been a huge number in the World Series. 88 represents time. John Fox did go on to get his 8th win in Week 8, on the day that the 88-year-old George Halas passed 33 years ago. He would have been 121 if he were still alive. That's the number of revelation. Also, again, 33 is always the big number on Monday Night Football. Jay Cutler, it was his 137th regular season game, which is the 33rd prime number. Washington, D.C. equals 137. Authority equals 137. Federal equals a 33. 137, the 33rd prime. It was also John Fox. He came into the game with 231 career games coached. Hillary Rodham Clinton again equals 231, like the name of George Halas. I mean, think about that. How perfect is the alignment? For those of you who watch my videos and don't think about what I'm saying to you, you have to think about this information. You have to put the pieces of the puzzle together. What are the odds that John Fox comes in with 231 games in light of all this? The 33-year anniversary. What this should tell you if you put the pieces together is all of this stuff is scripted and planned out way in advance, which is what I've been saying for 3 years. It's the only way all of this is possible. It's theater. It's like an ongoing book series. It's like, movies that have sequels. The day he was born was also a date with 27 numerology connecting to MLB. The tie between what's going on in Chicago right now with Monday Night Football in this example and then being in the World Series. Look at this. From the day he died to his upcoming birthday, what would have been his 89th birthday, was 94 days. And that is the huge number on this 2016 baseball season. The season began April 3rd, 2016, the 94th day of the year because it's a leap year. The Cubs this year won their 94th game in their 147th game total, and the Indians finished the regular season with 94 wins. Notice when you write out 94, it has gematria of 147 and 57. The manager of the Indians, Terry Francona, is 57 years old. World Series has the same gematria. And think about how the Cubs won their 94th game in their 147th game of the season. They clinched with their 93rd game, which is the number for Saturn, the keeper of time. Special number 93, Hillary became first lady in 93. There's that rumor on the internet, or there's that story, I guess it's more than the rumor. They've shown the yearbook supposedly on the news of the guy named Michael Lee who predicted the Cubs would win the World Series in 93. Remember, as the Cubs made the series 2-3, which is a lot like 23, 93's 23 years ago, as the Cubs made the series 2-3, the Sunday Night Football game was going on. Cowboys, Eagles, and the Cowboys and Eagles went to overtime 23-23, right as the Cubs were winning 2-3, making the series 2-3. All this happening at the same time. Plus, when you add 23 plus 23, like what overtime was for Sunday Night Football, it sums to 46. Dallas, Texas equals 46. Chicago, 46. Chicago Cubs, 46. Remember, they clinched their World Series berth on the 46-year anniversary of the death of Billy Cyanus, who the curse of the Billy Goat was connected to, who Billy Murray predicted would be broken on that day. Then they had Kyle Schwarber come back with the goatee, who has the same name gematria as Curse of the Billy Goat. He's coming back for tonight's game. Is Kyle Schwarber going to have a big game tonight? Anyway, just trying to share with you how all these pieces come together. The significance of 94. 94 was the lockout season. The Indians had a very good season that year. The number 94, its divisors sum to 144. Again, 144 is the number for time. Hendricks equals 144. If this goes to Game 7, Hendricks is pitching. Remember that. And also, Game 7 will be 94 days from the birthday of the Marlins pitcher who passed, supposedly in an accident. I did a video the day he died, the day of the news, showing that connection from his birthday to Game 7 of the World Series. I said this is one more thing that points to Game 7 of the World Series. So I do expect the Cubs to win tonight. If they don't win, here's something to think about. Today is 112 days from the All-Star game. This is the 112th World Series. The Indians got home field advantage because of the All-Star game. That's how it's decided. If the American League or National League wins, their league gets home field in the World Series. Maybe the most nonsensical sports rule ever. Also, this guy, he went by the name George S. Halas. George S. Halas, 54 like baseball. 117 like his birth numerology up here. Born February 2nd, 1895, the 33rd day of the year. And a date connecting to Illinois. So with 99 on mind and 54, look at when Walter Payton was born. Walter Payton was born in the year 54. 54, the baseball number. His date of birth, date with 51 numerology and 33, just like Cleveland. Cleveland has gematria of 33 and 51. Just like 86, the Bears won the Super Bowl the last time in the beginning of 86, at the end of the 85 season. National Football League equals 85. National Football League started in Chicago. The last time Chicago won the Super Bowl was 85. Think about it. He was also born on a date with, or not born, he also died in the year 99 on a date with 111 numerology on 11/1 or 1/11. It's 111 no matter how you look at it. Plus add the numerology that date. He died 99 days after his birthday. In the year 99, he is a legend, an icon in Illinois, in the NFL, considered to be the best running back for the Bears. Arguably, some people might say it was Gale Sayers. Illinois, though, has that gematria in 99. What are the odds of him dying 99 days after his birthday in the year 99? What it honestly makes me wonder is if he even really died. I wonder how many of these athletes where they say that they come down with these horrible illnesses and die rapidly, I wonder what's really going on. Are these people being injected with something to make them sick, and then are they being finished off by the numbers? And why would they do this? Here's why, Truth Seeker. Our brains are powerful. And when sadness comes upon us, it impacts us. And it can even make us sick. When we see a healthy star athlete dies from one of these debilitating diseases, it makes us worry that we might die. People look up to these athletes. They worship them. They think about them more than themselves. A lot of Americans. So when these things happen, they take those worries and they come back onto them. The people who govern over us, they know the way we work. And this is why they do what they do to us with all the negativity in the media, all the death reporting, all the suspicious deaths. His name in gematria sums to 25 and 79. Here's what that makes me think of. The number 97 is the 25th prime number. We're in the 97th season of the NFL. There's this parallel to the 1997 World Series. Walter Payton, born in 54. This game today is 99 days from the manager's birthday of the Cubs, Joe Madden, February 8th. Also John Fox's birthday, the manager of the Bears. Tomorrow will be a span of 99 days from their birthday. The last name Payton also has gematria of 91. Chicago Cubs in simple English gematria equals 91. If you count the numbers 1 through 13, they total 91. His cause of death has this gematria coding of 149, and what it makes me think of in regards to the NFL is the first Super Bowl season was in the 47th season of the NFL. That was at the end of the year 66. And I noticed a while back this relationship between 47 and 66, and I thought that was so interesting. Walter Payton, part of that Bears team that won the Super Bowl. Skull and Bones in Gematria also sums to 149. The Masonic Order, the gang that identifies by the number 322. Last year, Peyton Manning came out after his 322nd pass with a supposed injury, but really it was just to rest him for the rest of his scripted season, his Super Bowl season. You know, last year I had a clearer read on the Super Bowl in October than I did this year. Isn't that interesting? Even though I have more knowledge this year, I'm having a harder time reading it. I mean, I made my prediction earlier, but it could be wrong. Last year, there was a clear read for the Denver Broncos. I would say I haven't seen the information that gives us that clear of a read yet. So, still searching for the final answer. All right, so let's get on with Monday Night Football. The final score was 10-20, a very specific score, 30 total points. On this same night, the Bulls won by 30. Becoming 3-0. The Chicago Cubs are going to have to win 3 games in a row, go 3-0 through the final 3 of the World Series to win it. When you write out 10 as a word, it has gematria of 12 and 39. Look at the score, 10 and 20. Lose the zeros, it's kind of like 1-2, 2-1. Illinois, the 21st state, 12 and 21. Reflections of each other. When you write out 20 in gematria, it sums to 26. Again, Bear equals 26. The Bears improved to 2-6. It was on the anniversary of the death of the founder of the Bears, Papa Bear, the 33-year anniversary. He died on a date with 26 numerology. With regards to 39, it also, I should mention this, Monday Night Football was created by Pete Rozelle, his invention. Rozelle, a name in gematria that sums to 39, the big number on Sunday Night Football as well. You know, Sunday Night Football this week, Dak Prescott won on his 39th pass of the game for a touchdown. SNF 39, always the big number on Sunday Night Football. The name Pete Rozelle has that same gematria as Freemasonry, secret society. So here's the game from last night, Monday night in the NBA. The Bulls defeated the Nets 118-88. Soldier Field in simple English gematria sums to 118. In Pythagorean gematria, it sums to 55 and 64. It was the 64th Monday Night Football game for the Bears. Soldier Field, 118. Bulls win with 118. The word death also has gematria of 118. On the 33-year anniversary of the death of the founder of the Bears, on Halloween, a day for remembering the dead. You don't think these leagues are scripted and tributes to each other? You know? When you write out 30, the big number on the game as well, 30 total points, 30-point win, Chicago equals 37, just like when you write out 30. 37, 37. And with regards to Chicago Bulls, who were originally the Chicago Stags, both teams with gematria of 112. It's the 112th World Series. It goes to Game 7. It's going to end on November 2nd, 11/2. And you know what, Truth Seeker? Even if it ends tonight, by the time the game ends, it's going to be November 2nd, Universal Standard Time. And that's where the real crime bosses, that's the real time zone they go by. The Indians could win tonight. I've talked about the narrative for them being the first team in 14 years to be part of a city that won 2 pro sports championships. Earlier this year, they had a 14-game winning streak against the same teams that the Cavs played in the NBA playoffs. It would be the Cavs and Indians winning 2 in 16 for the 216 area code in Cleveland. The last team to do it, LA, Los Angeles, the Lakers, and the Angels, the basketball and baseball team, same combo. Notice last night, Bradford in the loss had 37 attempts, part of the Chicago Tribute. 228 total yards. United States of America equals 228. Death equals 228 in the times 6 method. Go to gematrix.org, type in death. It'll sum to 228 in what they call English gematria on that calculator. Also, net 201 yards. It's a lot like 21, Illinois, the 21st state. Jay Cutler had 31 attempts, giving the Vikings their 31st loss on Monday Night Football. Or perhaps it was against the Bears all time. I forget. It was one of those things. I documented the game. It was their 31st loss either for Monday Night Football or against the Bears. But anyway, it also came on October 31st, The Vikings had 57 total rushing yards. Jerick McKinnon was out, plus Peterson's out. Yesterday's date had 57 numerology, and World Series equals 57, remember. World Series tribute, perhaps. Howard, the name equals 33. It was Monday Night Football where everything's 33. At 153 rushing yards, that's a number that goes with the miraculous catch of fish in the Bible. Fish is a word that also has gematria of 33. Howard 33, MNF 33. All right, so College World Series. Again, it was won June 30th, 2016. A date with 72 numerology. The word world equals 72, like World Series. It was a date with 45 numerology. Illinois 45, Wrigley 45, Major League 45, Cubs 45, Bears 45. Who's pitching tonight is Josh Tomlin, 45. Cubs haven't been in a World Series since 45. Again, 71 years. The World Series began on a date with 71 numerology, the same day the NBA season began, the 71st day. Again, the leading scorers that day for the Cavs and the Warriors, who were in the NBA Finals, they combined for 71 points, their top three scorers on both teams. It was also a date with 52 numerology, this College World Series, one of the numbers of prophecy. Their name, the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, gematria of 108, like 108 years since 1908. Coastal Carolina and Chanticleers both equal 54, like baseball. From that game to what would be Game 7 is 125 days, which has connections to 223. They reported that the game was delayed for 2 hours and 23 minutes, and then when they played the final game, it was 3 hours and 22 minutes long. Those numbers again. It's like, how do they pull this off, Well, if you watched how they pulled it off, they just made the delay way longer than it needed to be. The rain had already stopped. They just made sure to time it that way because these people are that insane. The same people who are running your media, running your government, running your pro sports, they're running your colleges. They're running your education system. Freemasonry is the network that has built this world as we know it. I've been emphasizing that in the beginning, since the beginning of these videos, and people still come here and they say they don't get it. They don't get it because they don't ask the right questions. They don't connect the dots. They don't think about how all this can be possible. It's possible because they've been doing this for centuries. They built it this way. This is their system. Gematria, all this stuff, it goes back thousands of years. Thousands of years the system's been in place. Think about something like the TV or the computer. That hasn't been here all that long. Gematria, it's been with the world. The people who practice this, they know what they're doing. Also, from June 30th to November 2nd is a span of 126 days. This is a number that I find around championships all the time. Look at this. When you write out 45 and when you write out 54 baseball, 45 Cubs and all this, they both sum to 126. And the small way, they both sum to 54. Isn't that so interesting? And it could be a 126-day span from the College World Series to the Championship World Series, and it very well could be the Cubs winning in Game 7. Then again, if it ended today, it would be a span of 125 days, which has the 2-2-3 connection. Go back and watch what I was showing all NBA season. The Cavs advertisement with Kyrie Irving number 2, LeBron James number 23, Kevin Love 0, so 2-2-3-0, it's 2-2-3. At the beginning of the season last year, Flip Saunders died, who was from Cleveland with a February 23rd birthday, 2-2-3. I said Game 1 of the season last year between the Lakers and Minnesota Timberwolves, Los Angeles Lakers originally from Minnesota, I said, watch, I bet you that game goes to 223 points when it finishes. And sure enough, it did. Flip Saunders was coaching Minnesota. Minnesota was playing the Lakers. The whole 2-2-3 thing, which is a super special number to the Freemasons. Masonic 2-2-3. The Synagogue of Satan 2-2-3. You know, the Star Spangled Banner, so many things in this nation are 223. Again, 97 World Series. It began October 18th and ended October 26th. It began on a date with 144 numerology, the number for time. Date with a life lesson number of 54, baseball. Ended on Hillary Clinton's birthday. And you just wonder, is this some predictive programming, foreshadowing? She was the first lady back then. She very well could be the first female president, the 45th, Illinois 45. She's from Illinois. This date was a date with 133 numerology. You know? Government 133, White House 133, Hillary Clinton's birthday. Cubs this year get their first World Series win against the Indians on this date. We'll see, we'll see. So I think we covered it all. I think I took longer than I wanted to. If you haven't seen all the videos I've put out recently, you know, go back and watch these videos. You got to have all this knowledge here. If you're not subscribed to my channel, you're missing out. You can stop watching pro sports. You can stop watching the news. You can just come here. I take it all apart, all you need to know, and I show you how scripted it all is. This is what you really want to know. You need to know what a joke you live in. I've known what a joke I live in since I was 18 years old when September 11th happened. I didn't need gematria or numerology or any of this shit. I just saw what a fucking joke it was. To believe the lies of September 11th, you have to be a clown. And so anyway, the point of my work is to help, you know, people wake up. Stop behaving like clowns. Stop believing like fools. Start to see things for what they really are. Scripted sports, propaganda news, assholes running the world. What this research did show me, though, is these people are sicker than I knew. I didn't know about all this ritual sacrifice and murder by numbers. You know, go listen to the song Murder by Numbers by the band The Police that came out in the year 83. Came out a month before I was born. I bet you my dad was listening to that song back then. He used to love Sting and the Police. You know? So there it is, Truth Seeker. You know? The truth unleashed. Help me spread this truth. And also down in the description, if you want to help build the Truth Seeker Network Alliance, the social app that can organize us, empower us, help us put this madness to an end, you know, the link to donate for that is down there. Thank you to all of you who do. Understand, none of that money in that charity is going to me. It's going to get this job done. If you haven't seen my Truth Seeker Network Revolution video, I'll link that down there too. Until next time.